So I'm here with senior team captain and catcher Evan Mcdonald. Evan, how are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Has it hit you at all that you're at the beginning of your very final season as an FDU Knight?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. It's been a good 4 years here, and I'm excited to continue this season. I'm expecting a big year.
When you look back at where you were your freshman year when you first came here and where you are now, if you could go back and tell your freshman self one thing that you've learned in the 4 years here to kind of just keep remembering, what would you say?
I'd probably say several things. Kind of trust the process. Don't expect results right away. Be patient. Be glad that you're in the moment and enjoying your teammates. Yeah, I would say those things.
You're someone who's obviously been here 4 years. You've had four different teams, four sets of teammates. How does the 2019 Knights compare to those other teams, both chemistry-wise, as far as on-field talent, everything?
We're very young. We got a lot of freshmen. We had a couple JUCO transfers that'll help us out. And being that they're so young and they're just excited to play, kind of makes the older guys kind of want that like spark back. Make the vets kind of get that hunger back. But I think we kind of bring to the table to the younger guys, kind of like be patient, again, kind of trust the process. But it's definitely a good mix, and this team's got a lot of potential.
You mentioned that you guys have a very young team. Do you feel any sort of added, I guess, leadership responsibilities or capabilities that it is a younger team, or just the fact that you're team captain enough doesn't really change anything?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say it changes really anything. I think a lot of these guys hold themselves accountable. I don't really have to do that job. I think this team's got a lot of potential, like I said earlier, and they'll be very good in the future.
When you're young, obviously, I don't have to tell you this, but when you're first starting out your freshman season, there's a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, college baseball is a big adjustment to people coming in and playing for the first time. Guys can go through rough patches and maybe go cold for a while. What do you do, I guess, or what can you do to really basically just stay focused and keep younger players from really getting down on themselves and just try to keep them focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, a lot of these guys, they're putting in extra work. And like you said, there's a lot of ups and downs. But the best thing to do is just keep being patient. Obviously, these guys are going to put in work, continue to get better.
You looking forward to not having to catch so many doubleheaders this year?
Yes. We got a very good class that came in. We had a JUCO transfer and two freshmen that are outstanding. They'll definitely give me a break, and I'm excited to play some games at first and DH some.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the season. Hey, I am here with freshman catcher Devin Roach. Devin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Being someone that comes from Florida down south, obviously it's very warm. How are you adjusting to baseball in the Northeast in February?
I mean, it's a lot different. You have to make sure you're all warmed up and stretched, and you got to take care of your body a lot more. But other than that, it's pretty good.
I would imagine there's quite a few places you could have played baseball that are maybe a little bit warmer. What made you want to come to FDU and be a Knight? What drew you to the program?
Coach McKay was definitely a huge factor in it. His approach on hitting really made me want to come here. I love the way he coaches and the way he runs practices.
You guys have a very, very young team, especially at catcher. What have you learned from some of the older guys, Evan specifically, as being the same position as you? And then just, I guess, in general, what have you soaked up from some of the veterans on this team?
Well, Evan's been a huge influence. He's really showed me how to carry myself from a standpoint of just makeup-wise, and how to the everyday things to go through to get yourself ready to play in games.
I realize that you haven't really played any real games yet, but what are some of the big adjustments that you noticed as far as the biggest things you've had to work on compared to where you were last year, compared to what college ball has been like so far this year?
The game definitely moves a lot faster and a lot more signs, and just keeping up with everything is a lot different.
The relationship between the pitcher and the catcher, all of them, is something that's very sort of special and unique within a baseball team itself. How have you become, what's your process been like to get acclimated to all the pitchers, both just on a personal level and just getting used to actually catching them? Obviously, every pitcher is different, but just talk a little bit about some of the differences that you've had there.
Well, the pitchers, you gotta learn what pitches work and which way they move, and what if one pitch isn't on, what pitch you can fall back on to call. And getting to know them on a personal standpoint, just going to study hall with them every night, and like just getting to know them, like just through hanging out with them and getting to know like where they came from and like that kind of stuff.
Thank you. Well, congrats and good luck on this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Joined once again by freshman catcher Brett Mercier. Brett, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Doing well. You hail from way up north in New Brunswick, Canada. That's big-time hockey country. So I got to ask, how did you get into playing baseball? Everybody thinks of Canada as being just hockey only, but is there a baseball culture up there? Obviously, you came from there.
Yeah, it's kind of, hockey in the winter and baseball. Instead of playing hockey, I always wanted to try something different, so I'd go to baseball field, but that's kind of one of the only ones my friend that tended to play baseball. Most guys just train for hockey.
So you never played hockey at all?
No, I played hockey my whole life. I just kind of did a dual sport type thing. So
Would you play position-wise?
I was a left wing forward. So
I was a left wing too. Good for you. How are you finding the sort of the acclimation process in your freshman year here at FDU? Obviously, new country, new school, everything that goes into that.
yeah, it's obviously a big adjustment from like the high school level to college level. So it's a lot of change and just it's more maturity than anything.
Seems like you guys have a very, very close-knit team here. There's a lot of chemistry between the players. Is that obviously? Do you agree? And what's the team like? I guess to somebody who doesn't get to be in the locker room every single day.
I think we have a very close team. We're very young, so I think that helps. So a lot of guys are kind of going through the similar things, and we have really good leadership to help. So the difference between freshmen and seniors, like usually they kind of seem a little more high end, but no, we're all one for sure, and no one really thinks they're more privileged than others.
In talking to some of your teammates, they mentioned this is obviously a very young team, but there's still a ton of potential here, a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and a lot of sort of enthusiasm. Just what are your feelings about, potential for this team this season and then going on, for you down the road?
Yeah. I think we definitely got the skill and the work ethic. It's just the little more mature things, like when to do what, when to kind of use your tools. It's more just learning and adapting to, obviously we're playing a lot of older players and they're going to be a little more mature and kind of know how to work us. So I think it's just going to be using our tools in the right time, right spot.
From a technical perspective, what are some of the, adjustments that you actually have to make to your game compared to catching high school directly versus catching a D1 college pitcher?
I think it's going to be a lot more misses as far as a pitcher. I think they're going to kind of pitch you more backwards, so it's going to be a little more on your toes, and you're just going to have to make adjustments as you go.
What's the relationship been like between you and the various pitchers on this staff? That's a sort of a unique thing, the relationship between a catcher and a pitcher. How have you been acclimated or got to know a lot of these guys?
Yeah, we're pretty well paired, so you kind of got to learn their tendencies and all that. But I think a lot of it's off the field too. If they trust you off the field, they're going to trust you on the field. So as long as have a good relationship, I think it kind of carries onto the field, which is huge.
Well, thanks, Brett, and good luck to you guys the rest of this season. Hello, everybody. I'm here with freshman catcher Jorge Rosales. George, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. A couple weeks out from the start of your very first freshman season. What are your feelings right now? Just your personal preparedness, your readiness, and then just general thoughts on the team so far. I know it's early.
Yeah, but it's really just a lot of excitement. We've been working since day one in the fall, and I think we're really ready, and the team's coming together really well, so I'm excited.
Talk a little bit about what made you want to come to FDU, I guess. Why did you choose to become a Knight? And obviously, it's only you've only been here a few months into your freshman year, but how's the experience? How are you finding it so far?
Yeah, it was a big decision, but I think what came with it was Coach McKay was a big factor. I really wanted to play for him, and I was determined to play for him. And it's going pretty well so far. It's everything that I expected and more. So,
catcher is obviously a position you're involved in the entire game. Just what's been, I guess, your experience kind of getting to know both the other catchers and the pitching staff on this team? Obviously, that's a very, very special relationship that exists within the team itself. Just talk a little bit about what the chemistry is like between these guys and how you're finding things so far.
Yeah, it's good. I think the catchers as a group work really hard, and we work together really well. And obviously, you have to get to know every single pitcher. Every single one is different, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of kind of getting acclimated to every single one, and we're excited to get going after it.
Is there a particular pitcher that you find especially difficult to catch?
No, not really. Every single pitcher is different, but you just have to really get acclimated to kind of what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and you just kind of have to kind of push them into those weaknesses and make them get better.
If you if you couldn't catch, or I guess if you had to pick another position, where would you be on the field?
In high school, a little bit. I played middle infield, so I'd probably play there, maybe a little bit of corner outfield.
Gory spots, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.